ago. But anyway, let's start off with what we want to get into first. We just saw this last night. We're going to go ahead and give the nod to Chris. She's the one who actually suggested this one, but it's called It's What's Inside. It's from Netflix.
I'm a big fan of Brittany O'Grady. Hey, all my star girlies, you know.
If you know, you know. Series finale of a show with a wedding shootout. Gotta love Star. Gotta love Star. But anyways, it's not Star. Let's go ahead and get into It's What's Inside. Go ahead and give you the synopsis of it real quick. Pre-wedding reunion descends into a psychological nightmare for a group of college friends when a surprise guest arrives with a mysterious suitcase that starts to tear the group apart. Now, we're just going to go ahead and tell you guys this right now. Do not watch any trailers for this at all. I think the little Netflix thing that shows a little bit of a scene, that's the most we saw. And then we said, we might as well just jump in. Don't watch any trailers and do not expect any spoilers. We cannot tell you much about this film past the first, 15, 20 minutes, like everything else besides that.
All we can tell you is what he already just read.
Really stars Cyrus and Shelby. Just your typical couple. Seems like they've been together for a while.
9 years.
9 years,
that's
actually.
Not a spoiler, so.
Yeah, that's not a spoiler. 9 years, actually. And you can see a little bit of dissentment into them. You know, she kind of wants to get a little bit freaky. He's, let's just say he's taking care of himself. If you know, you know. But that kind of is a little bit of a teaser into not just how their relationship goes, but into how they feel. Obviously, they're going to their friend Ruben's wedding. The night before, he's like inviting them over to kind of chill and whatnot.
Have a nice little college reunion.
Yeah.
Goes off to get married.
Yeah. And on the way there, Shelby kind of reveals a little bit of her character. She's definitely insecure about how her Instagram feed looks, and she tends to, as you always say, comparison is a thief of joy. She tends to steal a lot of joy from herself because she definitely compares how her feed is to how Nikki's feed is, as we'll get more into the characters a little bit later. But as the night kind of progresses, we kind of get this introduction of a story about a guy named Forbes who happened to be a really big genius. And then an incident happened at a party. He was a partier, but he was also, pretty smart to be able to do what the movie entails a little bit later. Yeah, expelled from his school. Kind of think that that's just a normal story that's thrown in there, but it pretty much becomes the basis of a lot of what the story has to do. Let's really talk about the pacing and how the movie really played itself out. What did you think? It's not 2 hours, about an hour and 45, pretty much. What did you think of it?
So it's an hour and 43 minutes. I appreciated it because it wasn't too long. 2 hours, you got to be damn good. For me to be sitting there for 2 hours, you have to be good. You have to keep me intrigued. They did keep me intrigued. I never felt as though there was ever a time where it was lagging or I was like, okay, let's hurry it up. Now, there was one time where I was like, do we need it this long? Maybe you guys will agree. Maybe some people might not. But it was just a scene where I was like, okay, this is dragging. We're dragging it. But it does end. The scene does end on like a very climactic note.
Now I get what you're talking about.
Yeah, so like the pacing was good. I felt like nothing was dragging on too long. Definitely has, because I was so worried. I was like, this movie is going so well. Please do not sell at the end. Don't give me some mess. Don't give me something that's super boring. Like, don't make it like super goody, because there's a kind of like you might take sides in this movie. It's kind of easy to, almost in a sense, but not really, because they're all like they're young adults, so it's like they all kind of have their own faults. I definitely like how, like I said, it just kept the story going.
Yes.
And it all tied well together at the end, and they did not, for me personally, did not sell at the end to where it was like, okay, this was good. It wrapped up nicely. It wasn't too long. Nothing dragged out.
Yeah.
So.
No, I definitely say you hit the nail on the head there. I definitely say that to me, it didn't really feel like it was dragging. When the movie was taking you out of the main story to kind of do exposition, I think that the way that the movie was shot was different. There was one scene, really when they first start talking about the party of Forbes, that was definitely different. It's kind of like this picturesque effect that kind of feeds onto itself, but there's no continuous motion. So I really do like how it took its time, but it also balanced, okay, we got to get these main characters to the house. We got to get them all in the same place. And then we have to talk about not specifically every single person's backstory individually, but it gets revealed throughout the night. And I like that because you really are, like I said, Cyrus and Shelby they really are the main course of this whole movie, like their relationship, but their interactions feed off of the other characters in here, like Brooke, like Nikki, like Maya, like Ruben, like Dennis, like everybody, and Forbes. They feed off so well that every single time something happens, you want to know what's coming up next. This movie does have parts that are broken up. They're like rounds. You know how I feel about movies that have breaks, or like they literally introduce another part with like a black screen in the title. I think it worked well. I think it was necessary. If you look away for about a minute or two, you'll be confused a bit by what's going on. But I think overall the pacing of it was really, really good. It did not feel long. It ended really well. Like it did not drag at the end. I was worried about that too. It's like, okay, you've already given us this. You've already told us what's going to happen. Here's what's happening. And then by the ending of the movie, they find a way to elevate themselves even more to kind of make us go back and say, wow, I kind of want to watch that again, because now I kind of know what's happening, but I want to see it from this perspective. And I think the movie did that very, very well. It had moments of tension that was like, what's going to happen, but also how's this going to affect this person? Okay, this person's making this decision. Is that going to come back later? And then it does. And I like that this movie does it. And when we tell you that everything in the movie comes back to be referenced, it does. Like, opening lines of this movie come back and they'll reference later scenes, how people look, how people act. But
one thing that you did say, I can see why. So we look at it very highly. Like I said, we didn't watch anything. I can see why it might not get as high of a rating as we're seeing it, just because of the twist that occurs. Obviously, I'm not going to share the twist, but it is like the twist that occurs. I can see people guessing it. I can see that. So just like, I'm happy I didn't ruin it. I'm happy I didn't guess it. But, I can see that kind of being kind of like, I kind of already knew that, whatever.
Yeah.
And taking it down.
But I think there's enough of them. And I think that, I mean, I'm going to mention them again. Look, when it comes to twists, is it a twist or is it an M. Night Shyamalan twist? That's all I'm going to say. But
he loves Lady Raven.
I like her music. I will say that. Anyways, when it comes to this film, even if you can guess the twist that's going on, it's still a damn good time to watch it because of the characters. And let's segue into the characters and the acting. This is really where it was like not just a strong point, but we haven't seen this done before as well in a long time. Really, can we give a round of applause for everybody who was acting in this? Because I feel like they did a damn good job. Like we said, there's a lot of people in here. Every single person shows up and does what they need to do. We can't go deep into how they were acting because it reveals parts of the story, but just know that this movie finds ways to make the actors make the most of not just the lines they're given, how they're delivering it, their mannerisms. You can tell that the writers and the acting coaches of all these actors really had to take it up a notch and go, if you want this to be great, you have to bring your A game for this because we're going to tell if you're lacking. And I don't think anybody really was. Brittany as Shelby, I thought she was stellar here. I didn't see Star, but she was great in here. Like, I definitely would want to see her in more stuff. Cyrus's actor was very good. Forbes' actor, David Thompson, was very, very good too. Like I said, I think everybody really did a great job with this. They just showed up. You can tell when an ensemble comes together, and I say this with some of the better movies we've watched, you can tell when the actors are having a damn good time, and they seem like they were having a lot of fun, and they were almost trying to one-up each other of, no, I can do this scene a little bit better. And like I said, they really flowed well. Usually in movies like this, because this is horror, sci-fi, like psychological, definitely psychological horror,
it's
whatnot.
More of a psychological thriller. It's not
Thriller,
really horror.
but they throw horror in there.
Everything.
Everything made sense. Like everything made sense. Like little things that we saw from the beginning, how certain characters were looking and even talking to one another. It came back and made sense later. And even things that I was thinking in my head, like, I wonder if this actor is going to really step into this role to make me believe this is who they are. And they did. And by the end, you had such a great twist that there was, even another element of another great actor in here that I think really stepped up to the plate. So like I said, the acting is really what took it up a notch for me. It's why I give it like a round of applause, because when you watch this movie, you'll understand what I'm saying. When the plot is revealed, there's other movies that can kind of do this sort of plot, but it can only be affected well if the actors know what they're doing in it.
I think goes to show this was very well written and actually displayed and gave other actors and actresses we haven't seen before in these big time shows. It doesn't seem like this was a cash grab to show a bunch of just people that we know in the industry. This is what happens whenever you actually just show raw talent. I've never seen any of these actresses besides Shelby, Brittany. Well, I have seen David because of The Boys, and I just recently started watching that. So it's like I hadn't seen any of these other actors or actresses before, and I'm like, thank you for giving other people an opportunity. Show us what it's like. And then I felt like they had great chemistry.
Thank you. That was the word I was looking for. Phenomenal chemistry. Honestly, it seems like they could have easily been in their own TV show, but I think they worked extremely well in a film here. Like we said, if this review seems a bit dry, we apologize. It's just that when we tell you guys to watch this without seeing a trailer, watch this without seeing a trailer. You'll be heavily rewarded without seeing a trailer of it. But
I think you could still watch this movie and not be paying attention wholeheartedly if you're good with names. If you're not good with names, don't.
Yeah, but I'd say you definitely would be. You'd be as rewarded as we were by not, by paying attention during it. Usually there are some times when we watch movies and it's like, oh, we can be on our phone for a second. But this one I was like, wait a minute. By about 30 minutes in, I'm thinking, yeah, I really have to pay attention to this if I want to be rewarded. And I think we were.
But it does get into it pretty fast because, I'm thinking like, is this going to be like one of those boring ones where it's like, oh, we met up, someone's going to try to like hoe us before my wedding because they're upset about something in college. It's way more than that. It's way more. And that's what I was like, please don't let it just sell like that and be one of those, because there's so many movies where it's like, oh yeah, let's meet up. I want all my friends to meet up before my wedding or before I leave for college or I leave to go do something, travel the world, yada yada, whatever the case may be. And then it's like, oh, like someone's just gonna get hoed, someone's acting crazy. But it's ultimately like way more than that, and it's not. And like I said, I appreciate it also for not being super teen angst and making it super trauma filled or super sexual to where it's like, okay, I'm seeing everyone.
Or even drug filled. It was just
I'm not
there.
I'm not seeing everyone's tits. I'm not seeing guys' asses. I'm not seeing people fucking all the time. It's like, thank you for like keeping it tasteful, minimal, and getting to a story. You actually wrote a story.
Exactly.
Rather than writing a freaking cash grab or writing, oh, it's these teenagers, they fuck, they do drugs, and yeah, let's just have a twist.
Exactly. And not everybody even does drugs in the movie. I think that they showed that well. They showed, some did it, some didn't. It's not like everybody was trying to mess around and get laid. That wasn't an interest of every single person in the movie. But anyways, let's go ahead and give our official ranking for It's What's Inside. We ended up giving this movie a solid S. I love how you just never say the actual rating with me. But we gave it an S. Like we said, it has been a while since we've seen an S. The last S we had on the channel was actually No Exit. So it's been a while. But yeah, pleasant.
Another choice of mine.
Exactly. But pleasant surprise.
I personally gave it an S.
Oh yeah, my bad.
Is because now I was thinking A plus, but then what ultimately got me to make it an S is because I was like, I've never seen anything like it. They did everything in a tasteful way, everything tied together well, and it was perfectly to me a well-rounded film to where I'm like, I can't take any even what was the one flaw I said, oh, like the timing of something like kind of dragged and I didn't need to see it that long. That was so minuscule, like that wasn't something that affected the whole movie and I'm so annoyed now and it just derailed it. I was like, no, it actually, like I said, they did everything tasteful, they rounded it well to where I'm like, there really are no errors or issues with it. And like I said, the timing was well, everyone did very good at acting, camera work was very well, it was all very nice and it was colorful. I liked that about it. And then it had dark scenes, it showed different angles of people and how they looked. And then also, the other parts of when they're like, I'll say when they're in a red room,
because I was going to say the colors, the color and the cinematography is almost a character in itself. It matters a lot. How it's shot, how the colors are on certain characters. It means something. Like I said, you have to pay attention to it. Like I said,
what's on the inside.
Yep. And the reason why I give this an S is this definitely did give me Knives Out. Definitely the writers of this movie, hats off to them. And like I said, the main reason why it gets an S is because the acting, and it really went up to an S from an A plus for me in that last 15 to 20 minutes. I was like, oh wow. I was like, I definitely want to watch this again. I immediately texted friends and family members like, you got to watch this. So we're telling you now, Zay and Chris here from the Zay's World channel, we're telling you to definitely watch it's what's inside, especially during, spooky season. So, but even if it wasn't in October, it would definitely be something worth to watch.
Have with friends. Like if you
Absolutely.
have a sleepover, like perfect.
Perfect movie to watch with friends. Hope you guys enjoyed this review. We'll see you guys next time. And yeah, peace out.